The other part I want to talk about supports specific hits in the song, on the 1, the and of 2, and 4. The first time it happens, I play this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... You might recognize this pattern as the snare part in Essential Beats 8A and B, or as grid number 7 if you were to subdivide with 8th notes instead of 16th notes. This part happens 4 times throughout the song and is always accenting those same hits. The hits provide a framework to operate within, like a shape that we're coloring in. I want to compare each of the 4 parts with each other so that we can see the different ways I chose to color it in. The second time I play the part, it sounds like this. The third time I play the part, it sounds like this. And the fourth time I play the part, it sounds like this. Now that we've heard them, let's compare. The first and third measure for each version are the measures that accent the hits. The first measure for the first and third time are identical, and the only difference in the second time is that there is a bass drum on the and of 1 leading into 2 16th note snares that lead into the accent on the and of 2. That variation was done to support the guitar part. The first measure in the fourth time is a variation of 8B that is very similar to what we covered in the last video. The difference here is that there is no bass drum on the and of 4, and a crash is played with the snare on beat 4 to help bring out the hit that we're supporting. The second measure for the first 3 times are identical to each other. The fourth time is rhythmically the same, but I decided to put a hi-hat with the bass drum on beat 1 and play flams on the and of 1 and beat 2 instead of hi-hat and snare like I did in the first 3. The first 16th note of beat 3 is played on a floor tom instead of a snare, but aside from that, everything else is the same. The third measure is almost the same for all 4. The only differences are that there is a bass drum on the and of 1 in the second time, which is there because it's supporting the guitar part. The other differences are that for beat 4 in the third and fourth time, I played a hi-hat with my snare instead of a crash like I did for the first and second time. The fourth measure in the first time is the same thing I played in the second measure, except I finish it with 2 flams to lead into the verse. The fourth measure in the second time spices things up with the 16th note triplet fill on the and of 2, leading into a bass drum on 3, and then adding a bass drum on the and of 4. The fourth measure in the third time is the same as the second time, except that I played flams on the and of 1 and on beat 2 instead of snare and hi-hats, and I did not play a bass drum on the and of 4. I played this exact same variation in the fourth measure of the fourth time. Now, I know I just took you through that somewhat methodically, but I wanted you to see the differences between the variations. I was not thinking like that at all when I came up with the parts, because I was focused on the song, and this is what it told me to play. So to finish things off, let me play through each one of these at a slower speed so you can follow along. That does it for this Song of the Month lesson. I hope you got something out of it, and I will see you in the next one.